Welcome back. More than 10 million people in Southern Africa are at risk of hunger. A devastating drought has had a severe impact on food security in the region. The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies is now stepping up efforts to assist people in Botswana, eSwatini, Lesotho, Mozambique, Namibia and Zambia. Let's talk more about this crisis then. My guest tonight is Dr. Michael Charles, head of the IFRC's Southern Africa cluster. Very good evening to you, Doctor. Thank you for coming in. So 11 million people, you're saying, are at risk of hunger as this drought continues to bear its devastating effects. Can we stop that number from growing?
Certainly we can, if we put all our efforts together. Currently we have 41 million within the SADC region that are food insecure, and we have 11 million that need urgent food assistance. We're seeing that in the communities. We have seen people that are not able to eat for 2-3 days. We're seeing children that are malnourished. We're seeing women that have to sell their bodies for money, and we're really seeing this in the communities. And yes, we can do something about it if we all come together. As the International Federation of Red Cross, we have launched an appeal of 7.7 million Swiss francs, which is about $8 million US, focusing on 80,000 people, giving immediate assistance, which is cash, food, but also looking into the long term. So, yeah.
I mean, that's quite a massive drive that you're now on. Will this money have to come from international donors specifically, or are you targeting specific individuals?
Well, we're targeting international donors, we're targeting individuals, we're targeting multilaterals, we're targeting the corporate sector. We feel that, together we can make a difference. And with the Red Cross, with its volunteers on the ground, in Africa we have 1.7 million volunteers. They are within the communities and they're reporting back what they're seeing. We have people that have lost all their livestock. There was a man we interviewed in Namibia, had 80 cows, all of them are dead. We have seen, people that have nothing at all to eat. They're eating, wild fruits, eating mangoes, and we're just saying that this cannot continue. So we're looking into the immediate response, but also looking into the longer term. How do we help them to build their resilience to be able to cope for future hazards?
2.3 million people, you said, are suffering acute food shortages in Zambia alone. Now, 2 months ago, you'd already issued an emergency appeal for that country specifically. How has the needle moved, I wonder, between October and now, or have things gotten worse?
I mean, things have gotten worse because obviously we're going into the lean season, and if you haven't planted, then you will not be able to harvest. And we're seeing that, the compounding effect of food insecurity is caused by sometimes too much rain, which, gives floods, and, the crops are washed away. And sometimes we have too little rain, and then people cannot, harvest their crops. So we're seeing the compounding effect, and we're seeing that in a space of 2 months, definitely more needs to be done. Yes, we have started giving emergency response, but definitely we need to come together with other humanitarian actors to really, build the resilience of the community and give them dignity in terms of, giving them emergency food response.
I want to speak about Zimbabwe now, because the issue in that country has garnered a possible, in fact it's a factual, much more media coverage only because the political crisis continues to grab headlines. To what extent has the political situation in Zimbabwe worsened this drought and the devastation that it's brought on people? Because 3.6 million people, they understand, are facing food shortages.
Yeah, 3.8 million actually are facing food shortages in Zimbabwe. And we're seeing that, yes, due to some of the, economic situation, but also due to, the climatic variations that we're seeing, that, these things are getting worse, they're not getting better. So what we are calling for as the International Federation of Red Cross is to continue to profile the voice of the people, to continue to amplify it, and to see how we as the international bodies can come together to really support these people.
What we're doing now is dealing with the aftermath of this drought currently, Doctor. What can countries do within reason to prepare for such a crisis? Because drought, yes, it's brought on by natural environmental issues, but is there anything that governments can do to make sure that when it does hit, it's not as many people as we're seeing now who suffer?
I mean, there's a lot of things we can do, and what we as the International Federation of Red Cross are doing is that we're having income-generating activities so that at least the community members, even if there is drought, even if there is food shortages, they have assets that they can sell, goats, cows that they can sell to get food. to be able to buy food. We're also having something we call conservative agriculture, which is really distribution of drought-resistant seeds, which need very little water for them to grow. And we're really promoting that at the moment to say, let's go that route, so that at least even if we have less rain, we can still have good harvest. We're also doing water points and making sure that backyard gardening can also take place. So rehabilitation of boreholes, making sure that people have water for irrigation. So such things will minimize the impact of drought and the consequences that we're seeing. Just to also say that, some of the health risks that we're seeing at the moment is quite immense. We're seeing that the little water that there is, we're seeing the competing priorities between the livestock as well as humans really taking water from the same source. Obviously, this comes with health implications, which is also straining the already strained health system. So all this compounding effect is what is making us say, we need to intervene fast, and we're calling on all well-meaning citizens, the corporate sector, to support us in this endeavor, because we're all in this together.
Often then when we have these sort of conversations, there's a worry about the management or mismanagement of the aid and it being possibly abused. Zimbabwe, a few months ago, we heard that United Nations aid was, for example, being taken by people in the military to either resell or for their own families. So once people give to this initiative, who then takes care of what has arrived and makes sure it reaches the right people?
Well, with the Red Cross, we have our structures on the ground. We have the National Society, and then on the ground as well, we have the branches, we have the volunteers. What we actually do is that we have a program called Community Engagement and Accountability. So what comes in, we inform the communities, and if there's any form of mismanagement which we dealt within our rigorous system, then the communities are able to report back to us immediately. It gets to my office, and then we're able to take action. So I think we've put in the mitigating measures to make sure that a lot of the aid goes down to the people that need it the most.
Dr. Michael Charles, thank you so much for your time. I do hope that your drive does yield the necessary funds. You're looking for 7.7 million Swiss francs.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.